am going to, we are live now. We are recording for YouTube. And today we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about some of the things that we can do to not only feel good, but to also look good. Like I remember Billy Crystal would say, "You look marvelous. It's better to look good than to feel good." And of course, that was a horrible imitation of Billy Crystal, but imitating Fernando Lamas. But just know that we all want to look fabulous, darling. And so today, we're going to fasten our seatbelts. We are going to fasten our seatbelts because we are going to learn and grow together. Whoops, what did I do here? I just got myself out of, these are the things that happen. That's what happens when you go live. Okay, so here we go. Let me get ready. I don't like it when my when my Robert is not around. Okay, here we go. And I said to Robert this morning, I think I am not going to do the theme song, but here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. It's time to dance. Here we go. And I want to see the two of you all dance.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear. Bridges we burn. We make mistakes. Then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning into the Lillian McDermott Radio Show / Classroom since 2011, or you just joined us yesterday for the first time or stumbled upon it on YouTube or podcast, just know that I am grateful for you, that you are tuning in and you've just been a part of this growth process with me. But if this is the first time that someone said, "Hey, Live Longer Medical is going to be on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom," then please know that if this is your first time, I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the best life that you can. The best life, the life of your dreams. And for many of us, and if you've been listening or watching or whatever, when we first started, we were a radio show on a Saturday for 1 hour, and then it's grew all over worldwide. But here's what we've been learning about. We've been learning about immeasurable benefits that we have been able to attain by the wonderful teachers. We've learned about nutrition. We've learned about thought and about meditation and sleep and all those wonderful things. But what about how we look on the exterior? Many of us feel horrible about the way we look on the exterior. But at the same time, we want to live a happy life. So there are different things that we can do to kind of slow down the aging process. And that's what I love about Live Longer Medical. And they're a new sponsor on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom. And Live Longer Medical, they have different things. The last time I was there, I had a treat with Kristen Laurella, and she is the nurse practitioner there. And so we're going to learn from her, as well as Lisa Geyer. She is the CEO of Live Longer Medical. She's also a health coach. And I've learned so much from the two of them in a very short period of time. So tonight there's going to be a fun event that we'll talk about in a little bit. It's called Beauty and Bubbly. And Beauty and Bubbly is the theme for tonight, and I'm hoping that you guys can join us. But today we're going to talk about anti-aging medicine and how to repair and regenerate our hormones. There's a joke that says, oh, and I'm not going to say the joke about the hormone. I'm not going to go there. It went through my edit package and it's going to be stopped right there. I know, Lisa. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Lisa Geyer and Kristen Laurella are here to do just that. Welcome to the two ladies to the Lillian McDermott radio show. Oh, can you hear me?
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
It's pixelating a little bit. Yeah.
Am I? Okay. So here's what I would like to start. Why don't we start with you, Lisa, if you can share a little bit about your background.
This low.
Can you hear us?
I hear you, but it's pixelating a bit. It's a little better now.
Okay, go ahead. Just share a little bit about yourself, Lisa, and what led you to this kind of regeneration of health.
So in 1994, I founded a medical clinic in Indiana. And we literally started with a physician and myself, happened to be my husband at the time. And we grew a medical practice over the next over 20 years. And we became world renowned. We treated very difficult patients, people who had, 20 physicians that they had already been to, very well-known people in the community and at large. We had patients that literally flew from all over the world. So we built a practice on integrity and credibility in science. And, the focus has always been to look for the root cause of an illness, not just to treat a symptom, which, if you have an infection, you need an antibiotic, and we're grateful for those medical advances. However, sometimes you need to understand where it's coming from and why we're having those particular symptoms. So we built our practice on treating patients one at a time. We spent a lot of time with them. Through the years, I had always wanted to have a practice in Florida, so I happened to find Live Longer Medical, and I purchased it and became the owner in April of this year, 2019. So, from there, I wanted to bring all of the unique therapies that I learned from traveling all over the world, and I'm bringing those treatments and therapies to our clinic here. And I needed to increase my staff, so I started interviewing. I interviewed many, many people, and lots of even physicians and nurse practitioners. And I interviewed Kristen, and she's amazing. She's very cutting edge. She's always looking at what's the best solution for a patient. And I think that's where we have a lot of synergy, and how what we're doing here is becoming incredibly successful.
Wonderful. And the two of you, the combination of the two of you, I added up, is 38 years of experience. And so I'm so grateful. I got to spend some time with Kristen as well, not only as getting to know her, but as a nurse practitioner, and how proud she is to convey the information, empowering us to make the right choices for ourselves, and very patient. So Kristen, welcome. This is the first time that you've been on in the classroom. So I'm really excited to hear a little bit about how you got involved in this kind of medicine. It's so hopeful.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I got involved with integrative medicine. I was previously doing family practice, and my background is actually ER and trauma and critical care. And I got involved with integrative care because I was reading about integrative health, and I thought that I always had an interest in hormones. And when I read a little bit more and researched it, it seemed like it was a really good fit for me. And I saw that the job was, posted, and I applied, and I was just so excited to go and to be a part of it. And then we have been going to A4M and all these educational opportunities and just learning so much about everything. And I'm just excited about all of it.
So when I can imagine as an ER nurse, nurse practitioner, you probably saw a lot of trauma, a lot of sad lives, outcomes. And here you are in a situation where you can make a difference as a person to prevent and to also reverse. So how satisfying has that been for you in switching to this integrated health?
Honestly, it's been very satisfying. Again, when I was in the ER, it was mostly, treat the problem and, you're just putting kind of a patch on it, so to speak. And in this forum, we're able to actually figure out, the underlying issues and actually treat the problem and prevent more from happening. So it's been very, very satisfying. And I feel like I'm actually helping and figuring it out.
And getting to the root cause, which is the main thing, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about hormones. Let's talk about the myths. What kind of myths, Lisa, have been people are bringing in? That's the lie in the center of our belief, which is, that when you age, there's a certain expectation that may be true if we don't take care of ourselves or eat the right foods or eat the standard American diet. What are some of the myths that you find in women and men that come into Live Longer Medical and prior to the Geyer Institute that you've been able to debunk?
So, there's a lot. And interestingly, when you meet with a patient, the questions that they will ask you are pretty amazing. So, it can be anything from, I read the women's study, and that was done many years ago, and it was really not clearly articulated to the public that, the study was done with synthetic hormones, and they were showing, the issues with cancer. But what we promote and what we prescribe to our patients are bioidentical hormones, and those are completely unique. It's more like what your body recognizes. So the way they're metabolized, the way they're broken down is unique, and it is for that individual patient. So one size doesn't fit all. And in your traditional model, one of the myths is, I can just take Premarin. That'll fix it. Well, Premarin is from horse urine, and it is not exactly what I want to put in my body, particularly. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Give me an extra dose of horse urine. I'd love that.
I'm wanting that today. So most of the hormones, what we use are from yam extracts. And they are more like what your body recognizes. So the way it's used is different. And like I said before, one size does not fit all. And so when a woman is having PMS, when a woman is perimenopausal, when a woman is menopausal, everyone's got different symptoms. Everyone has different needs, and it can be different for each person, whether it's the dosing, when they take it, how they take it, whether they take it or not. I've seen patients who maintain very healthy estrogen levels well into their 60s and early 70s, and they don't necessarily need estrogen, but they might need a little bit of progesterone. So you really have to have the practitioner's ear. You have to be able to listen. You need to be able to discern, what that patient needs. And Kristen is amazing at doing that. And even if it's somebody who's extremely complicated, we're very blessed that we have a multitude of practitioners that we work with, and we can, run a case by another practitioner and say, hey, this is unusual. What do you think? And people work as a team, and we come up with a solution that works for that person. And, our goal is not to create negative symptoms, but to eliminate them, and also treat so that the body has, creates longevity. That's the goal. We want to live a long life. We don't want to live miserably, but we want to live vibrantly. So, hormones are key for women. But sorry, back to myths. You asked about myths. I know, Kristen, you could probably speak to that. Go. You get more of that than I do.
Yeah, it's I commonly get those as soon as, especially with new patient consults. Some of the myths are, that testosterone will help erectile dysfunction. Well, it does. That's one of the causes of erectile dysfunction, but actually most of the causes are another underlying issue with possibly a psychological issue or a structural issue or something that, other than that. Some other myths would be gonna there's some changes in your vocal cords as you age, and it doesn't allow the voice to get higher in pitch. There's the other myth I hear a lot is that it's going to raise my PSA score.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it does raise it 1/10 of a point, but no more than that. And there is no link to prostate cancer from having testosterone.
Okay.
And there's been multiple affect the prostate.
Okay, so if a person goes in, whether it's male or female, and Kristen, you're listening to some of their symptoms, I'm sure that symptoms are very similar from person to person, but each person might have a different root cause. How do you discern how much to give, where the levels that you put them at for that individual?
The amount of testosterone dose is really based on weight and their baseline testosterone levels. And everyone metabolizes a little bit differently. Sometimes there's other underlying issues like a thyroid dysfunction or an adrenal dysfunction. And it's kind of a puzzle, so to speak, because you're putting the pieces together. And so dosing the testosterone is really, our thing is that we start low and go slow, but it's really more about putting the entire puzzle together. And that's kind of how we figure out the dose.
And how do you, go ahead.
Men and women need testosterone. So it's not just men, women need it as well. And it can affect their energy, the way their muscles, whether they build good, strong muscles, sex drive, that's a big issue. And typically when we fix the women, the men are running in the door. So
they're thanking us. They're thanking us.
Unless the man has issues, and then they're like going, what did you create?
Well, then they come in and try to get fixed also.
They come in no matter what. Okay, so that's I guess that's one of the going back to the root cause, because that is the bottom line, is the root cause. So for men and women, the root cause can be different, but how do you know that that is the level when you say slow and what was it that you said? Low and slow. Yes. So you build, but I've heard, okay, maybe this is a myth, that once you put in the X amount of testosterone in that pellet, it's going to be there for the next 6 months. And I've heard horror stories about women that they were given too much testosterone, or men that were given too much testosterone, and they're like a lion in a cage. Can you address that a little bit more, and how you keep that from happening at Live Longer Medical?
Yes, we use BioT identical hormones, and we like those the best because they are uniquely dosed, just exactly what we just described, based on weight, based on testosterone level, based on PSA score. They also take into account whether you're already on a thyroid medication, and they actually will dose that as well. It's actually awesome. And the dose is almost never off. It's kind of amazing how that occurs. There has been times where people do metabolize things differently. Pellets are based on cardiac output. So if you are super, super active, marathon runner, or actually even people that smoke, their cardiac output can be higher, and you can metabolize the pellets a little faster. Mm-hmm. So it really just depends on the person as well.
Okay. And what about the criteria? So, Lisa, you and I are about the same age, and, we sit down and we talk about, things that are happening to you, and I go, me too. And you say, and something else is happening, and I go, me too. And we think that this is normal. So what is the selection criteria for knowing it's time to get checked?
Mostly symptoms. Most people come in because of symptoms, but I feel like people should start in their 30s and know their baseline. Know what their hormones look like when they're in their 30s, when they're feeling vibrant, when they have that youthful place to start. That gives us a baseline of what's working for them, and then we try to keep their levels where they felt great. And then that helps maintain longevity and will reduce or even eliminate, in most cases, symptoms.
Okay. Okay. So, but what I'm trying to say is that we think that the aging process, the Me Too, is like that is part of aging. But you're saying that we can reverse and repair. So how does testosterone repair? Is it a Band-Aid fix, or is it actually repairing our hormones? Kristen, or whichever one.
It's not a Band-Aid fix. The fact is that after a certain point in your age, you just don't produce it as much.
Okay.
And the natural decline in men, for example, is after 30. In women, it's usually closer to 40. And then really everything starts to decline for women during peri-menopause. So it's not so much a Band-Aid fix. It's more about living your life, like Lisa said, to the fullest and as vibrantly as you can. Testosterone, we know the benefits of testosterone. It increases bone density, it prevents osteoporosis, it prevents Alzheimer's, it obviously helps libido, but the main thing that I hear as soon as patients get pelleted is the mental clarity. That is huge. That is the
I think I want to sign up for this.
it is awesome. In fact, I'm going to share that I actually recently just got pelleted for the first time. I kind of wanted to feel all the benefits that everyone was talking about, and that was the first thing that I noticed was the mental clarity. So I can actually speak to that, and it was pretty awesome.
That's good to know. Now, Lisa, is there anything you'd like to add to what Kristen just said?
Well, one of the things that you see when you talk about hormones declining as we age is exposure. People have different exposures in their life. It could be a heavy metal, it could be their diet, it could be, what they lived around. The body has toxins that can diminish hormone levels as well. So even though we're treating hormones, we're also looking at the whole person and everything else they've had in their lives. So we want to treat all of that because that's what gives you the strength to maintain those healthy hormone levels.
Okay. So repair, reverse. So when we're repairing, is this a one and done? So I'm thinking that when we repair something, it's fixed. But what is causing, you say it's a natural slowdown of the body naturally slows down. Wouldn't we consider that naturally? So if we're repairing, how does the body say, okay, well, this is great, this is natural? How do we figure out the balance of what is natural for the body to slow down and reduce these hormones versus putting it into our body and saying, now we're going to say this is going to be normal for us? Lisa, would you like to address that?
Well, again, it's so unique with each person and with each patient, and it depends on their life experience and what they've been through as far as their health. And for instance, you might have a woman who has all the symptoms of their hormones being, declining dramatically. Hot flashes, night sweats, foggy thinking, fatigue, mood swings. I mean, a woman could have all of those symptoms wrapped up in one. So as you begin to help that patient repair, the hormones are a piece of that, but there could be other pieces that play into that as well. Okay. And certainly we're exposed to a lot of things in our environment that can diminish our ability to maintain those levels. So over time, you try to heal that, and you want to bring it back to a balance. And it is scientific. That's why we do lab testing. And you have ranges, and you really titrate hormones based on that patient, their outcomes, and how they're feeling. I always tell patients that when we meet with them the first time and we're working on their hormones, give us 6 months. You really need to let your body have 6 months of adjusting and changing. And, you might, if a patient is using bioidentical hormone replacement cream, you might need to titrate it differently. And Kristen's just amazing at trying to figure out, is a cream going to be a good idea? Are the pellets going to be the best fit? And everyone can be a bit unique. And sometimes it's a combination. You might have pellets and you might have creams.
Okay, so how does that work, Kristen? How do you choose the cream versus the pellets?
First, it's really up to the patient. I kind of, ask them what they would prefer in terms of, because the thing is, it is kind of a commitment with the cream. You have to do that every single day. And sometimes for some individuals, they feel that they don't have the time to do that, or they just feel like it's just an extra step that they don't want to do. Some feel that the pellets are more convenient. Some feel that an injection is better because it's just once a week. And again, like Lisa was saying, everyone is unique into what they want. Most times when patients are first starting out on hormones, I do suggest doing maybe a cream, because everyone actually responds to hormones a little differently. And it's better to do the least invasive medication rather than doing the most invasive on the very, very first time. Because there's some people, like I said, that are very sensitive and can do the extreme side effects that, that rarely happen to people, but sometimes they do happen. And then other times, it's not enough. And that's most cases. It's not enough. And they require more.
Okay. Now, when you do choose the cream, let's say I were to choose the cream, where do you put the cream? What is the inconvenience of the cream? Where do you put it? Is it messy?
No, it's not messy. They usually compound it in a base, and that makes it more absorbable. You put it on the inner thigh or the lower abdomen. Some people can put it on the back of the arm. Basically, it's absorbed best through the dermis and then into the subcutaneous tissue is where it ends up being more metabolized best. And they're specifically formulated to do that.
So these creams might have testosterone and progesterone and estrogen all at the same time?
Not progesterone, but estradiol and testosterone. You can do a compounded cream. Right?
Okay, and you do that there, or do you send it out? How does that work?
For now, we're sending it out. Eventually, we'll mix our own here, so patients can take that with them when they leave. I will add another thing about progesterone. I love progesterone because it's so great for your skin. So I do take a progesterone cream, and I like to mix it with my face cream, and I like to put it on my face. It's kind of a little trick, and I think it's amazing. So, for everyone—
You've been holding out on me, girl.
I like to mix my creams with my face creams because I think it just does make a difference. And even for men, if they're using a cream, I've had patients who've had injuries, whether it's a knee or a shoulder or an elbow, and we'll have them take that testosterone cream and rub it in that injured area, and the healing process is phenomenal. So, there's just little things you can tweak. And again, it's specific to that patient. It's what
I love the fact that one size does not fit all, and you are aware of it. Okay, so what are other things that we need to be aware of when selecting? Let's say, we have listeners from all over the world. Maybe they don't live in Indiana-Atlantic or in the Melbourne-Brevard County area. How do you know that the place that you're going to is the right place because I've heard horror stories. I really have. So how do we know that this is the right place? The credentials, the products, what can they ask? What are some of the questions they can ask, Lisa?
If you're going to research a practitioner for yourself, certainly we'd love to have you come here.
Sure.
And I'm used to patients coming from all over the world, so we don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. But if you are looking for a practitioner, you really want to make sure, that they've been trained. Mm-hmm. You want to know where their training came from. You want to know if they're just dabbling in bioidentical hormones, if it's a focus in their practice and they're making it a pivotal part of what they provide to patients. Mm-hmm. As well, you want a practitioner that's listening. If they're not listening, they're going to miss something. And for years I've said, if you listen long enough, a patient will tell you what they need. So it's very important that you select a practitioner very carefully. It's a good idea also to speak to other patients that have been treated by a practitioner. That's always a good idea. Make sure that they have science behind what they're doing. I don't believe in one size fits all. I believe in scientifically addressing a patient's issues along with their symptoms, along with their life story. If you have a chronic fatigue, a fibromyalgia patient, and they say to you, gee, I was 19 and I had mono and I've never felt the same since. Well, there's a lot more than hormones going on in that patient. So you have to listen long enough. You have to be detailed. One great thing is to look at their intake form. If it has 4 questions, I'd be a little worried. Ours is 14 pages long.
Mhm.
So, we want the detail. We want to know what's going on with our patients. And it does take time. And, we offer in our clinic an insurance model, which doesn't give as much time as we like, but we also provide integrative cash pay visits for patients who say, I need more time, I want your time, and so we offer that as well.
Okay.
So, again, those would be my little pieces to start with. Kristen, do you want to add?
Yeah, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just that that we have the ability, like she said, to do these advanced testings, and based on those, there's a very, very comprehensive nutritional evaluation, a GI profiles, and the SIBO test. There's adrenal, in-depth cortisol, breath tests, and saliva, and these things sound kind of excessive, but once you do them, the plan just becomes so specialized and unique for that patient, and there's no guessing. And literally you cut out years of trying to figure it out, going to different physicians and providers and just trying to figure out what's going on. You literally do the test, you figure out your plan, and you start treating it, and you prevent all these other diseases that could occur if you by just solving the root cause, as you said.
Yeah, it's interesting. Many times when in my youth, before I learned about integrative, functional, holistic medicine, and even with holistic practitioners, I find this where there's like a guessing game. I love it when doctors and clinics use a form of a marker, a DNA test to prevent, or a test like you said, like SIBO or whatever it is that you guys, to look at the body as a thumbprint, as unique, and create a roadmap to get you there. You know what you're dealing with, what the deficiencies are, what needs to be increased and what needs to be decreased. And I love that about Live Longer Medical. So for those of you who are learning about Live Longer Medical for the first time, if you live in the Brevard County area, or even if you're in an area where you want to grab your friends and say, hey, field trip, tonight's going to be fun. I'm going to be there tonight. And we're going to have, I'm looking forward to hearing about all the things that they're going to be doing. But it's called Beauty and Bubbly on August 15th, which is today, from 5:30 to 7:30. And they're at 102 5th Avenue, Indiana, Florida. And if you want to RSVP, do you need to RSVP, Lisa, to go to
Not
this?
necessary. It helps us just a little, but it's not necessary. We'll take, it's not a big deal.
Okay, and the phone number is 321-327-2980. And if you're in the area, let's have fun. So tell us about the event tonight, Lisa.
Well, we're going to have a representative here from MERS. We are going to do some aesthetics treatments. We're going to answer questions for patients. We have organic appetizers. We have to practice what we preach. And we even have organic champagne and Prosecco and some white wines. So
What?
Everything's organic, yes. And I'm new to the area, so this was like looking for a needle in a haystack around here.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful I found it. Anyway, so we're going to have a lot of other practitioners here that will share some of the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on aesthetics tonight and answer any other questions that patients might have that might be going on as well. We'll all be present. We have all of our staff here, and we look forward to seeing everyone here.
Yeah, and Michael Eagle from First Alternative Therapies is going to be there, and I know that he has the ability with microcurrent to do a facelift. He has the ability to alleviate pain with microcurrent, and I had been so excited to introduce Michael to both of you, beautiful ladies. And so, it's what we can do, and I want to encourage all of you to expect excellence from any provider that comes to you, any person who handles you. Not only expect it from yourself, and I didn't say perfection, I said excellence. There's a standard and a level that we must understand that is like like what will help us achieve the optimal health. And I love the fact that we've been able to surround the Lillian McDermott radio show classroom. We've been able to surround ourselves with such excellence, like Liberty Health Share and Keep Me Safe Organics, First Alternative Care, which, by the way, is a sister company to First Alternative Therapies. And so, you know, that's the telemedicine for 24 hours, 24 hours, 7 days a week, a non-urgent and family practice, dermatology, and 3 hours a year of behavioral health counseling for just between $35 and $45, depending if you get the portal. It is an amazing tool to help you bridge the gap. We have Dr. Stephen Grable, who's integrative functional in Jacksonville, Florida, and we have the pharmacy compounds, and they do organic. They work with all of us to provide the best pharmaceutical grades that our bodies deserve. And so if we go to whenyouneedafriend.com and you check out all the sponsors, including Live Longer Medical, and I want to encourage you guys to go into the event tonight, which will be a lot of fun. These are people that are taking a stand with this classroom and saying, we believe in what you're doing and we want to stand with you. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com and not only subscribe, check out all the ways that you can connect with the show through Facebook at Lillian's Radio Show. So for those of you who are watching on podcast or listening on podcast or later on watching on YouTube, just know you can join us in the live broadcast at facebook.com/at Lillian's or Lillian's Radio Show. And so this is where we take 100% ownership. You don't feel good and you want to feel better? Do something about it. And this is an option for you to do something about it. And not only can you do something about it, you can find out what your deficiencies are. Nobody is Prozac deficient. Nobody is chemotherapy deficient. Nobody. So we need to find out what the body is needing. And I love the fact that Live Longer Medical is doing all these tests so that they have a roadmap and a journey towards health, which is where I'm at right now. I am on a roadmap to health, and I know what I need to do, and I'm doing it, which is the explantation surgery. And I want Lisa to share what she shared with me prior to the show about the IV therapies that you can get at Live Longer Medical. So I want you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click onto the sponsors page, and figure out ways that you can support our sponsors the way they're supporting the classroom. Also, you can become a supporter of the classroom as well by becoming an enrolled student. So check out that button as well and see how you can help grow the classroom, spirit, mind, and body with your time, talent, and treasure. And so grateful to you, Lisa, and also Kristen, for coming on today to share not only about how we can repair and our hormones and feel better about ourselves. So before I move on to the next topic, Lisa, for people who are watching later on that have breast implant illness, you had mentioned something about a modality that you offer in Live Longer Medical. Would you like to share that?
So one of the things that I've used for over 20 years are IV therapies. So an IV is, just as it's stated, it's an intravenous injection. It's directly into the vein. It's immediately used by the body. The cell uptake is amazing because it's immediately available. Mm-hmm. And so the IVs that I've mixed for many, many years have lots of different uses. But if you are having a surgical procedure, there's a pre and a post IV that's phenomenal. We increase the vitamin C because prior to a surgery, you want to prevent infection. So when you get that IV therapy, it enhances your immunity and it has the effect of preventing infection. It also will speed healing. So I always would recommend to patients, if you're having a surgical procedure, as soon as you are able, get another IV because it increases the healing. I've had patients say to me, my gosh, I hardly had a scar. My doctor was shocked at how fast I healed. So specifically for a surgical procedure, that's amazing. Yeah. We offer a host of IV therapies. Again, many times it's specific to that patient. So we have a beauty IV that's high in biotin, vitamin C, which increases collagen. It improves your skin. We have hangover IVs for those party the night before, and so when they get up in the morning, they need to get an IV so that they can overcome some of the hangover symptoms. Sometimes it does help in a lot of people to get that IV before they're going to go out too. I recommend that too as well. And that has glutathione, which has an effect on the liver, cleans out the liver, and helps when you've been drinking.
Yes,
Um,
wonderful.
And then just, we have a basic energy IV. I try to get one a week. It just gives you all your basic nutrients. It has, I get a little extra magnesium in mine because I tend to be deficient in magnesium. And it just has this, you can just tell that your immunity has been enhanced and you just feel better. So I recommend that as well, because we all don't absorb everything that we need every day. And sometimes we don't eat everything we should be eating every day. And, quite honestly, we can't get everything that we need in our diet any longer because of the way our ground has been managed over the years. But regardless of that, the other IVs, we have chelation. So chelation therapy is a really, 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 really old therapy for heart disease, and it helps with calcification. It actually goes in and breaks up calcification. So we do chelation treatments as well. I was part of the first TAC trial many years ago, and I think they're on Tactile 3, and I think we may look into doing that here. But, it's just, IVs are a wonderful treatment, especially if you end up, if you have a patient with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and they've had, 10, 20 years, or even 2, whatever the case might be. Sometimes you need a boost. You've got to give kind of a jump start to the body and get the system going. So the IV therapies are a wonderful use for that.
Very good, very good. So we started off with the repair, and there's also regeneration. And so is there anything else that you would like to share about hormones, Lisa, that maybe we did not discuss?
I think, I'll just reiterate the fact that it's unique to the person. And so when you do look at someone and they're asking for hormones, you really have to have the science. You want to know what their body is doing, how they're methylating, how they're processing, things in their body, and just their symptoms. Because, I wanted to mention something earlier. There's something that we treat here. It's called subclinical thyroid. And in a traditional medical practice, if they do what's called a TSH, a thyroid stimulating hormone, you can have a look at that level and it may appear to be normal. It could be very high normal, but they may have symptoms. So, we keep a list of 14 different symptoms of subclinical thyroid issues. And so one of the things we try to do is take the symptoms and group it with the lab testing and create what's going to work best for that patient. But, in addition to that, something that is very new is called methyl genetics. And I know there's a buzzword of getting a gene test, and 23andMe is one of them. There's lots of companies doing genetic testing, and we have a couple that we like. But when you look at your genetic propensities and you blend it with what your labs look like, and then you add in your symptoms, in many cases you can see what your genes have a propensity to lean toward. And as you treat that with the science, with the supplements, with IVs possibly, with natural thyroid if necessary, you can come up with that unique treatment plan for that patient. And I know that sounds really complicated, but we love it. It's a tool, and it really makes a difference in that person.
Very good.
I haven't confused everybody yet.
Yeah, no. Kristen, is there anything you would like to add to what Lisa just said?
No, I completely agree with Lisa. I mean, it's just awesome how you can just figure out, like I said, and you're just saving all these years of just trying to figure it out just by doing these simple tests. And right, exactly. If you have a genetic propensity and then you're having symptoms, and then now you have a test that's kind of, basically, saying the same things. And now you have a treatment plan. You just prevented. You can treat it now, prevent years and years of symptoms, and get your symptoms under control quicker, and accelerate the healing process. Without just continue to keep it going, which is what I often see in other conservative type of practices.
No, I love that. I love the fact that if many use DNA testing and that kind of testing to put the fear of God in you, like we see these actors and actresses, doing DNA testing and taking out body parts. What people don't understand is 50% of people that have the BRCA gene don't get cancer. And so what's the difference? It's a 50-50. So why not use these tests as a preventative tool? That if you know you have the gene and you do whatever it takes not to get whatever, like change your lifestyle, change your thought process, because thought processes could be as toxic or worse than the food that you're eating as well. So utilizing these tests to prevent and reverse is awesome. I love that. I love that. So with that in mind, we're looking at hormones. We can do something about that. We don't have to be doomed to growing older and decrepit and old. We can actually be vibrant as we age. So that's a myth that's been broken over and over again. So with regenerative, I just had a treatment called microneedling with Kristen with PRP. And it was a very interesting process. And Kristen, would you like to share about this and why is this regenerative?
It's, I love microneedling, you know this. So what I love most about it is that it's a quick recovery time, especially if you use PRP. But microneedling in itself is good even on its own, if you use hyaluronic acid. Basically, what happens when you do microneedling is you create multiple microinjuries into the deep into the dermis, deep depending on what part of the face that you're at, but basically you create these microinjuries which stimulates an inflammatory response, and then what happens is you have usually when you have an inflammatory response, you have when you use PRP, for example, it's very rich in platelets and growth factors. So when you put that in, the inflammatory response also stimulates stem cells on its own to regenerate. That's the regeneration piece of it. Now, when you add platelet-rich plasma, it literally accelerates that process, so that instead of healing, for example, if you use hyaluronic acid, it may take a couple days to heal, whereas if you use PRP, it maybe takes 1 day. The downtime is very minimal, and that's why we love PRP.
And I just experienced that, and I would like to try it again, because this is not one and done thing, right?
Well, for some, but it's not recommended. The recommendation is to do one treatment every 4 to 6 weeks for ×3 in 1 year, and that usually is like the minimal of what most patients get. Younger patients that have nicer, like more vibrant skin can probably get away with 1 or 2, but most women or men get these too. Over 30 benefit most from the 3 treatments.
Very nice, very nice. Lisa, what are some of the regenerative modalities that you have at Live Longer Medical?
Oh my, there are so many. It would start with supplements, which can change genetic expression. We have IV therapies, we have B12 injections, we do the microneedling, which is wonderful. What am I missing, Kristen?
For aesthetics?
Anything.
Well, actually, I will speak to one thing on aesthetics, is that we use Radiesse, which has calcium. That's the component of the Radiesse. What's nice about using that is it actually stimulates collagen induction. So it's that just by using the filler, you're causing like a regeneration and a collagen induction. So you get 2 benefits. 1, that you look prettier aesthetically, and 2, that you have regeneration of collagen.
Very nice, very nice. Anything else that we would like to add before we talk about the bubbly and beauty and bubbly for tonight?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. So
covered a lot.
Yes, in a very short period of time, right? So let's talk about tonight's event. Are there going to be any giveaways? Are there going to be? I know that we have the champagne and we have the organic treats. But is there anything that people would, what can they expect when they arrive?
We have a gift bag, and it's got some little surprises in it, some gifts from some of our vendors. So we'll have that at the front door. A time with our practitioners while people are here. So, just an opportunity to get questions answered and get to know Kristen a little bit better.
Yeah. Are there going to be any discounts for buying some services or ahead of time?
Yeah, some patients have already booked appointments for aesthetic procedures, so they're getting the discounted price. But also, if you commit to buying a syringe tonight, for example, of one of the fillers, then you can get a discounted price.
Okay. So is it a lot? Is it a big discount?
25%.
Wow. 25% is a good thing. Okay. So now let's go back to the hormones. And Lisa, for anyone that is in their 40s or 50s and they're feeling run down, maybe they're exhausted, how would hormones change their life? Bioidentical hormones.
Well, again, depending on symptoms, I think everyone needs to know what their levels look like. You don't know what you're treating unless you know what you have too much of or not enough of. And, energy, foggy thinking, these are common things I hear from women. Libido is another big issue, especially women in their 30s and 40s. That's something you hear a lot of. And a lot of times women don't think about testosterone as being a very valuable, hormone that we need to address as well. Mm-hmm. And I find testosterone, like Kristen said, it really, really, really changes your ability for your thinking. Your thoughts become more rapidly. Sometimes if I've taken a little too much accidentally, you'll talk really fast. So, it does affect energy and just your spunk in life. You kind of get that back. But the younger you start understanding your own unique biochemistry, the better off you are, because you can treat it more credibly and intelligently as you age.
Very good. And what about you, Kristen? Is there anything that you would like to add? Or maybe speak to someone who's not feeling well and maybe think that that's the best that they're going to feel?
With testosterone?
With anything. When it comes to either regeneration or repair with hormones?
I mean, like I said, I think it's just uniquely individualized to every single patient. Everyone is different. Chemically and what they produce, and it's just going to be tailored to that patient. If the question is, do you think that they're getting more, or like some patients feel that it was too much hormones? Is that what you mean?
I'm just saying there are a lot of people who don't feel vibrant. They feel run down.
People get used to it too.
Yeah, and we don't.
And they don't realize.
Yeah, let me give you an example. When I was challenged back in 2012 or 2011, 2012, to eat raw vegan for 1 month. I said, bring it. I can do anything for 1 month, okay? So I started eating raw vegan, and about 3-4 days afterwards, I had so much energy. I felt so good. But here's the thing. I didn't feel bad. I felt good. But I didn't know I could feel better. So I wanted to speak to the women who perhaps don't even know that they feel bad because they've made this a part of the aging process. So, Kristen, with that in mind, speak to someone who feels that this is as good as it's going to get.
Yes, that happens again very often. I'll have a patient that comes in, just like Lisa said, complaining of fatigue, lack of motivation, foggy brain, the hot flashes, the night sweats, and they just think that it's part of aging or part of menopause. And then when I explain, you don't have to feel like this. You can actually feel better and live a fuller, more, vital life if you just replace your hormones. There's modalities now that we don't have to live through menopause at this point. And so when I explain it, and I give them a book usually, because the book actually describes things very well, and all the benefits that testosterone can give you. And it is more the testosterone. The estradiol really is more or less to treat the other symptoms of menopause, such as the hot flashes during the day, is better treated with estradiol as opposed to progesterone. And also vaginal dryness is another reason why we would prescribe that, or give it as an option. But like I said, usually what I find is right after they're pelleted, they're extremely happy. Like I said, sometimes they talk fast too, but they're very happy. They feel vivacious again. They feel like their energy's back. They're working out more. They want to work out. The motivation's there. Some patients have said that their kids like them again. And, because, the mood swings are a little more contained. And like I said, the mental clarity piece is what I hear most. And obviously, the increased libido is the second piece that I hear the most as well.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So we need to wrap this up for our podcast, but all of you in podcast land, just know that you can always join us live at Lillian's radio show on Facebook, and you can watch the entire broadcast as well on YouTube. I want to thank the two of you for just being a wealth of information. Thank you for being our teachers today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
And remember, tonight is the Beauty and Bubbly on it's today, August 15th, from 5:30 to 7:30, and they're located at 102 5th Avenue, Indy Atlantic in Florida. If you want to call to make an appointment to learn more, travel from all over the world, because Lisa is used to that as well, is 321-327-2980. And so we're going to say goodbye to those of you in podcast, but we're going to have a little conversation afterwards. I want to talk to Kristen about the O shot that you shared with me a little while ago on that. So it's a little bit more of the regenerative and repair of the body. So until next time, please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott. We have Kristen Laurella, and we have Lisa Geyer wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Yay, that's the best ever. Here we go.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve.
Okay, I know that you guys are probably got a packed room out there and ready to go, but I wanted to talk about this other thing. When you were doing the microneedling with the PRP, you had said that there is a shot that women can get, and it's called an O shot. Kristen, can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the O shot is basically the same procedure, similar procedure on the face, but it would be done on the on the vagina.
And so you do the microneedling in the vagina?
No, it is different. It's an injection of PRP into the clitoris.
Oh, really? And what are the benefits of that? Okay, so gather around, ladies.
Come on.
Gather around, ladies. Let's hear about that one.
Okay, so the benefits are enhanced orgasm. And then there's some regeneration of tissues as well with the PRP. So sometimes you can put PRP anywhere, and it causes collagen induction and repair and regeneration of the cells. So if you think about that, we've done it for years in joints. We've been doing it on faces. You can put it on any tissue, including the vagina or the penis, and regenerate those tissues as well.
The penis, where in the penis?
Well, it
kind of depends on the patient, kind of where that location might occur in many cases, but it's basically in the shaft. It's in the shaft.
Yes.
Okay.
And the same things that would the same benefits that would occur for a woman would also occur with a man, which would be enhanced orgasm and increased sensitivity. And yeah.
There's so many things that we don't know. And when she was microneedling in my face, and
I think we're losing you.
Oh, you're losing me again? Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So when you were microneedling and you were sharing about PRP and how you could put PRP in any part of your body, and you started explaining that, is this a repair? Is this a reversal of our DNA, or how does that? No.
No, regeneration basically is what occurs is that you have regeneration or proliferation of cells that restore it to its original intracellular and extracellular structure. So it literally returns to its original form. It just enhances it. And then you have stem cells that, like, stem cells come in when there are dying cells or when regeneration needs to occur. So there's always, every time that there's a small injury, there's an induction of collagen and there's regeneration.
Wow. Wow. So much we don't know. And it's worth just coming out tonight and learning a little bit more. I know that Michael Legal is going to be there, one of the vendors that I work with Lillian and McDermott and Associates. And I'm excited to introduce him to the two of you and everybody there. And I'm hoping that maybe he'll give away a free microcurrent facelift for everybody. And when I mean everybody, I mean me. Because I have the machine and I still have not learned how to do a facelift. So I'm hoping maybe tonight he'll teach me. But anyway, I want to thank you guys. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you guys tonight. And I hope that all of you who are watching in the area, that you can, come after work and have a glass of champagne or maybe even some water with some organic food. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you tonight. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you.
Sharing so much. I've never really thought of doing the pelleting, but after today, I might consider it. I have felt sick for the last 2 years after the car accident and the possible rupture of the implant, that, I'm looking forward to seeing what life is better. Yeah. Because we get so used to what we think is standard. Yeah. Everybody thinks that as we age, things will go downhill. Why? Why do we believe that, Lisa? Why does anybody buy into that?
Well, knowledge is power. I mean, if you know and you have knowledge about your own biochemistry, you can track where you are in your life, and then your symptoms can measure up. So, it's knowing your own biochemistry, knowing what you're missing, and kind of judging that by how you're feeling. You can tell when things are not doing so well.
Well, it's good to just at least be curious about it. And I hope that if anything, that this was an opportunity to be curious about how to improve our health and live the life of our dreams. So thank you guys. Again, Live Longer Medical, one of the sponsors that I absolutely adore. And I'm looking forward to celebrating with all of you tonight. So let's say goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. And bye to you too.